Other Time does not offer medical, financial, or any other kind of professional advice or opinion. This is just us talking about things we want to talk about, so take it with a grain of salt. Always set 2 alarms to wake up to. One for the person you are, and one for the person you want to be. I'm Isaac, 5 of 10.
Do you need different phones for that? Like one phone for who you want to be? And
No, I think just the simple practice of, I want to be the guy who gets up at 5:30. So you set an alarm for that. And then, okay.
That sounds like that's terrible advice. You're going to be so tired.
No, because you wake up and you're like, I'm not that person yet. And you turn off that alarm.
And then you wake up at noon.
Yeah, then you have your other alarm you wake up at 6:45, which is gives you the exact amount of time to get ready that you need with, to only be late enough to where no one will say anything.
There is an art to that, understanding the landscape of where you work and knowing when you can arrive.
Yeah.
And also how to enter the building. It kind of becomes like a stealth mission to get in and get to your desk and then act like you've been there for 30 minutes when you've only been there for 2 minutes.
Yeah. Fortunately, a lot of places have windows into the bathroom, and that's your entry point. Just come out. Whew.
Scaling the wall.
Been in there for half an hour. Am I right? My work is they actually have an interesting policy about clocking in. You clock in and clock out honor system. And the way they have the time work is anything up to 8:07 counts as 8 o'clock. So you round down as long as you're there by 8:07, you can round down. But at 8:08, it becomes 8:15 that you clock in at.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So you can, timing it to get there right at 8:07 is a skill that I haven't developed. I'm usually there early because, I can still clock in early and start doing work. But some guys are able to pull it off, and I applaud those people. I'm Isaac 510. My favorite villain is Bane. Bane is by far my favorite villain.
Oh, what do you like about Bane? You mean from Batman, the guy with the mask on?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Fish.
Yeah, I love that voice because not a lot of bad guys, but he seemed to be like a man of a pure man of action and his own honor system, but he seemed to maintain it up until the moments before he was defeated, and that's when he lost that honor, and that it came out that he didn't have that honor. So it made him, even though he's the bad guy, it made him likable for me because he was consistent and had this, he could have had everybody fight Batman, all his henchmen himself could have all jumped in and fought Batman. No, he fought Batman by himself, and everyone else just stood and watched while he beat up the Bat.
So if we kind of paint a picture, you're sitting in a movie theater watching the Batman movie with this in. He breaks Batman's back, and everyone in the theater is like, "Oh no!" And you're nodding, and you're like, "I like this guy."
100%. And then he didn't kill him. He's like, "Now you're going to prison."
Well, I'm Josh, 8 of 10, and my favorite villain is Ultron, I think.
Okay.
Which I thought about saying Thanos, because I really did like Thanos as a villain. I thought he was well done, but I think Ultron in Avengers Age of Ultron, he was just a very interesting villain, especially the last conversation he was having with Vision. I really liked that conversation because it showed how he. What's that?
What was the conversation?
You
don't have to do it verbatim, but what was the concept behind it?
Well, Vision finds the last android that Ultron inhabits, and he's separated from everything else, and it's just him. He's damaged, and he's doomed essentially. And and Vision and him just have a very straightforward conversation about humanity and how Ultron's plan was to essentially enslave them and control them in order to keep them safe, because that was his goal, was to protect humanity, and he was going to do it by subduing humanity, which involved killing a lot of people, but eventually he was going to protect them. Whereas Vision saw the beauty in their failings, and they both pointed out that they're doomed, but Vision saw it as a privilege to be with them, whereas Ultron saw that as essentially a waste of time. It was an interesting conversation that at the very end of the movie, after all of this epic stuff happened and, all the fighting and whatnot is all done, it was just interesting for them to have that, quiet conversation between them. And of course, Vision ends up just obliterating him at the end. But,
well, that's how, that's interesting. I'm drawing a parallel with that and how Mormons see God and the devil. Like,
oh, interesting.
Because God grants us like autonomy, lets us make choices, whereas the devil would be like, no, they need to be subdued. Their choices need to be protected from their own choices. Because look, I can make them choose poorly. I can convince them to choose poorly over and over again. They can make bad choices, so they need to be subdued. And that's like a moral conflict. I think I see that repeated a lot in religion and I guess benevolent rulers who come in trying to, protect people from their own decisions. Well, they're not smart enough to do. I think similar arguments were made for slavery as well. Like that, well, some people just aren't smart enough to make their own decisions and should be. But I'm glad, like, as a society, we see the value in autonomy.
Yeah.
For the most part. So, yeah. Oh, well, let's think about that more over break, though. Are we back?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, I like that. Mm-hmm. Family news. You got anything going on?
No, nothing new over here. Just chugging along school and
Oh, well, how's that going?
It's going okay. I feel like I'm constantly reminded of why I don't like school, but it's once you're done, right? That's what I keep telling myself. I just need to get through it and then I'll be done with it.
Yeah.
But I've actually been practicing this what is it, like fortune teller, foresight, see the future. So I'm going to predict that hold on, let me think about it. You purchased something recently.
Yeah. This is a little eerie. Okay.
Yeah, you purchased something that was shiny and metal.
Yeah, actually,
but it also has rubber.
Yeah, like quite a bit of rubber.
Right, and you swing it to hit nails. Did you buy a hammer?
No, I did not.
What? Dang.
I guess there are rubber hammers that
Oh, I was picturing the grip part is rubber and the top part's metal and shiny. But what did you buy?
I recently bought a truck.
I was so close. Dang.
I got a 2014 F-150. And
the Ford F-150. Nice.
Yeah, the Ford F-150, one of the most, I guess, popular trucks.
Yeah, they're in Texas. It's like most of the cars on the road are trucks, and most of the trucks are F-150s.
Yeah, so you guys are probably super familiar with.
Yeah.
I only paid $5,000 for it. All in.
Wow.
Like,
okay.
Taxes, title, licensing, all the from a dealer. It's got a higher mileage on it, but the retail price is 12 to 27,000 for the 2014 F-150.
Wow. What's
So,
wrong with it?
well, it is the base model of like there's no power windows, no power locks.
Okay.
It's a Wisconsin truck, so it does have a little bit of rust underneath. I was checking it out. It's really not bad. It's just like the start of rust. And
Okay.
the guy bought it at auction, and the company that was selling it every 5 years just buys all new trucks, like 150 new vehicles, and so they get rid of their old trucks. This guy bought one, and then all he does for his dealership is buy from auction, make sure it's in good working order, and then sell it quickly. So he just has vehicles passing through quickly. That's all he wants to do is win by bulk.
Okay.
But it was one of those. I've noticed on Marketplace, I start to get a feel for like Facebook Marketplace. If you're on there enough, you start to get a feel for scams and like, oh, this is too good. I'm going to message this person. They're going to reply, oh, I'm selling this for my aunt. Here's her email address. And then, then you start getting all the spam once you reach out. Or, people who are like, well, I need to verify you're a real person here. There's all sorts of scams out there.
Mm-hmm.
And this seemed like it at first, just by sheer like price that they were selling it at. Anyways, I found that if you have the patience for it, you should always still reach out to those people who seem like they might be scamming. And if they do scam, just report them immediately, block them, report them. It's not like they know what they're doing is wrong. They're not going to be like, "Oh, you blocked me. I'm going to make your life awful and come after you." They don't have a way to do that. Like there's nothing. They're going to make a new account and do the same thing again. They don't have time. And anyways, that I guess I was transitioning into giving advice about mine because it turned out to be just a really good deal in general.
Yeah. And, as a general rule of thumb with scammers, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And no one's going to call you to give you free money. And no one has an advance fee on winning. Like, if you suddenly win a lot of money that you never signed up for, and that's another thing, you're never going to win a contest that you never signed up for and never heard of.
Yeah, unless someone else did it for you, but...
Oh, right. And, you don't have any relatives that you've never heard of that are super wealthy, that are leaving you all of their money. That doesn't happen. Like, there are a lot of ways to look at it, but if it's too good to be true, it probably isn't, and you're probably getting scammed. And, I see a lot of stuff, especially recently, the media has kind of picked up the scamming stuff. They call it a pig butchering scam, which is super, like, a really visceral way to describe it. But honestly, it is that bad because we're talking.
What's the scam?
It takes many forms, but the reason why it's called a pig butchering scam is because it is just devastating to the person. So, for instance, someone will get like a phone call with like an investment opportunity is one that they'll do. And what they'll do is they'll convince the person that this is a great investment opportunity and they need to make a bank account or something like that. And they need to deposit their money into the account. And what they do is they make it look like they're getting a crazy return on their investment. Like they put in, $100. The next day it shows 150. And it's all made up and fake. Like that's just one permutation of it. But eventually they convince them to deposit more and more. Maybe they've got like 10 grand, 50 grand in there, and it's showing, 75 grand. They've got their family members depositing money because they're telling them, look how much money this is generating. You need to put your money in here. And then when they go to withdraw their money, they say, well, hold on, you need to pay a fee to withdraw the money. And they pay the fee. They say, well, hold on, there's another fee actually because you're over this amount. Okay, they pay the other fee. And they basically string them along with fees, right? This whole time, nothing's real. They're not making any money. All the money they've quote unquote deposited is gone. The scammers have it. So I've seen online people losing upwards of $800,000 to these types of scams.
Wow.
Yeah. Like
Oh my gosh.
their entire life savings plus like their children's life savings who they convinced to get into it. And that's just one
Oh my
version
God.
of this. Like there are a lot of different types of these scams. Like another one is where they'll call and say, hey, or they'll send a text or something and say, this is confirming your purchase of blah, blah, blah for $300. To cancel this purchase, please press this number or call this number. And what you're doing is calling a scam center, and they convince you to let them onto your computer to quote unquote complete the refund process. And it's all just to show none of it's real. They convince you to pull up your bank account, and they show you like the refund coming back. But in the end, all they're trying to do is steal your banking information and convince you to deposit money, complete a transfer over to their account of the entire balance of your bank account. Like they just steal all your money.
Wow.
There are a lot of things, but it all kind of starts with, I mean, the refund scam is a little different because, you know, you don't want to spend $300 on this thing you never purchased and you never heard of it. There's no way it's real. It's just, you've got to take a second and think about it. And especially as you're going through this process, honestly, like if you look it up and watch a video of someone like explaining the scam, it is ridiculous. Like the things they will convince people is legitimate is absolutely, it's silly. Like in what world would you getting a refund entail the company that is giving you a refund getting on your computer and doing things on your computer?
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
And part of that
Hindsight.
part of that refund scam in what they usually end up doing is they'll have you type in a command prompt, they'll have you type in the refund amount. And so if it's 300, they say, okay, now type in 300. And you start typing 300 and they'll press a few extra zeros and then hit enter. And then they'll be like, oh, what? You put in a refund for 30,000? No, this is awful. I'm going to lose my job. And this whole like ridiculous, like silly, preposterous like system where the person getting a refund could put in any dollar amount and they would just get that money. And they convince you to go like get gift cards to pay them back. It's like, yeah, you need to pay this back. I need a Steam gift card, a gift card for a gaming website.
Yeah.
To pay me back. It's like, okay, but it's dumb, but
I need you can pay me back in Roblox.
yeah.
For the Roblox game.
It's so silly. But these people, they're criminals and they'll lie about everything. And someone who maybe is a little more trusting and isn't aware of that can be convinced. Especially, unfortunately, you know, people who are older and less familiar with technology and are just
familiar with technology and sort of, I guess, more familiar with like the way things worked in the past, where if you accidentally added a zero to your check or someone wrote you a check for 20,000 instead of 2,000 and you deposited it. Yeah. I mean, there were more the physicality of things was different.
Yeah.
Too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And being people of honor, where if they're like, oh, well, I made this mistake, how do I fix it? Like, I don't want to be the reason this person loses their job. I'm trying to do the least amount of harm.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas if that were me in that situation, I'd be like, well, you guys got to come up with a better system next time. I got to go.
Yeah.
I guess I got $30,000 now. Well, you guys either will figure it out or I'm going to spend it on Roblox.
What's funny is there are these videos online of scam baiting.
Yeah.
And I think I've talked about it before, but they'll do that like where when it happens, they'll just start saying like, "Oh boy, I have so much money," and they'll go onto, on their computer it's a fake Amazon site, but to the scammer it looks real because they can see their screen. They'll be like, "Oh, I've always been wanting this generator," and they'll like go and buy like a $3,000 generator, like a $2,000 this, and they'll just start buying stuff with the money.
the money that they didn't actually get.
Yeah. So it's them saying, "Well, I can't give it back to you. I've already spent it. Sorry." It's funny.
Oh man, scammers. Yeah, the one that's common on marketplaces is they will reach out to you and say, "Hey, I just want to verify that you're a real person. You're going to get a code sent to your phone, and I just need you to give me that code." Or they don't. They usually start off with, "Can we just talk about this over the phone so I know you're a real person?" And then they switch over to, "Well, you're going to get a code." And what the code is doing is attaching your phone number to a Google account that they can then bill you through for things that you did not purchase. And yeah, if you're just talking to a person online who's trying to buy or sell something, they don't have a verification process for those people. They're not verifying. There's no code thing out there that normal everyday people can do. They're utilizing Google's Google system to make an account against your phone. Anyways, just don't. It's another one of those seems too good to be true, or like weird things that if it seems like feasible that someone could have a way to verify that I'm a human by just getting me to repeat numbers that came to my phone, but they could also just talk to you on the phone.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to have that. I noticed that I don't know if you saw this, but Abe posted that he got a concussion.
Oh, I did not see that.
And went to the emergency room, and then he ended up going back again with kidney stones.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah,
kidney stones. I'm so afraid of kidney stones.
Just drink a lot of water, drink lemon juice. There's stuff that like naturally dissolves them that you can drink.
So just like have a bottle of lemon juice and just chug it. I feel like that would be painful.
Cranberry.
Oh, okay.
I think also does a good job for just kidney health in general. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice, but as a doctor, here's my medical advice. Drink cranberry juice.
Just squeeze lemons into your mouth.
Yeah, that too.
Just every day.
How are your cats doing? I think about them from time to time.
Aw, well, they're doing good. Rosie's still detests Aladdin even being near her. So it's kind of silly. Like, I mean, they love each other. She still cares about him, but for some reason she'll get in a mode where she just, if he's even in her line of sight, she hisses and swats at him. And
he could be like 30 feet away, and she's like, swat.
She'll kind of hiss at him, or like she'll be walking and he'll be like around a corner, and she'll round the corner, and as soon as she sees him, she hisses and like just swats at him. She's like, "Get away from me!" Even though she's the one that approached.
Yeah, like she that.
Yeah, she's silly, but they do care about each other. I think it's just sibling stuff.
Yeah, I know there's stuff with cats where they have like the outdoor cats will they'll have really advanced pathing that they go on patrol to intentionally avoid any other outdoor cat. So they'll go certain time of day, certain exact path, so that they can patrol an area but not see any other cats. Like they set it up. So if one of them is off their schedule, like one cat is like didn't get let out for another extra hour and they cross paths, they get so mad at each other. This is my time to walk. I got let out late. You know, they
that might explain our fluffy boy. He is very territorial and he gets in fights. If he sees another cat, he goes after them. He's kind of crazy with that. He'll go after dogs. I think I mentioned it before.
Silly cat.
A dog's just happily walking down the street with its owner and it's on a leash, and Aladdin will just charge the dog.
This is my turf.
Yeah.
The dog's like, I just tried to walk with my owner. Yeah. I didn't even pick this place.
Yeah, we've had to go get him a couple times.
I don't know that you should be allowed to let him out. That's how he's gonna behave.
We keep him in at night now, and yeah, we try to keep. If we listen, if there's any kind of noise of fighting, we run outside and see what's going on. He's a little terror, but he's the sweetest cat ever. But when it comes to other cats and dogs, he is just very territorial.
So he saves all his good energy for you, it sounds like.
Yeah. He's a very sweet boy.
Okay.
But
well, I want to think about that sweetness over a break. Oh man, that Aladdin is your fluffy boy?
He is. He is a fluffy boy, and he is our fluffy boy.
Well, you know what? He sounds tenacious and like he would be the true winner for this week. So
oh wow,
let's all congratulate Aladdin on being the
I'm gonna let him know. Boy. I'm gonna go find him and let him know he won Brother Time. You know, that's the first time a non-human has won Brother Time.
Well, you know, sometimes it's just well deserved. So thank you, listeners, for listening. Aladdin is the winner. We could do a applause. There it goes.
Oh, there it goes. There was a delay there. I guess the audience was thinking about it.
Yeah, there's a conversion process for cat claps.
Oh, those were cat paws slapping together?
Yeah. It sounds very similar, but
it sounds identical.
Little toe beans sound very similar to non-toe beans, the hands. Anyways, we're online at brothertimepod.com where you can find, rate, and review us, I think. Or maybe you have to use whatever your podcast listening device is.
Yes. You probably just have to yell at your phone, brothertimepod.com, and I think if you just repeat it a few times, your phone will just take you there.
And if you just say brothertimepod.com is great, that's one way you can rate and review, just like vocally sending that out into the universe.
Yeah, in a crowded train. Just start repeating that. That would probably work.
brothertimepod.com. Just yell it out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks.
Yeah, brothertimepod.com.